In 1966, William Baumol and William Bowen, two American researchers, took an interest in the arts and culture sector, and more specifically in the performing arts. This sector is characterized by rather low profitability and rising costs. In summary, Baumol and Bowen's law is often associated with two characteristics of artistic and cultural organizations. On the one hand, the very limited possibility of achieving productivity gains, and on the other hand, a predominance of fixed structural costs over variable costs. Indeed, the same number of artists is always required on stage to present an opera or a symphony to the audience. Therefore, there can be no economies of scale, for example. Moreover, the structural costs represented by the theatre itself, or even salaries, cannot be reduced in the short or medium term. If one wishes to maintain a high level of artistic standards and the ability to present both classical and contemporary works, this situation ultimately creates structural deficits for artistic and cultural organizations because they are affected by inflation, just like all other sectors, whereas productivity gains in other fields help absorb rising prices and wages. This economic situation is sometimes referred to as the cost disease. It is worsened by societal expectations regarding the arts and culture, where people expect ticket prices to be affordable and for these organizations to be able to have an impact. A positive societal impact, for example, through cultural outreach. This is why opera houses, like public theaters, need subsidies in order to maintain their activities, in the absence of more developed private levers, such as sponsorship. However, there are criticisms of this law. They indeed underestimate the capacity for innovation of artistic and cultural organizations, or the exploitation of activities stemming from a concert or a show, such as merchandising. Finally, all the economic and non-economic externalities are not taken into account in this model. This is precisely why opera houses, for example, are particularly concerned with evaluating their territorial impact. In other words, beyond a chronic deficit that would be purely accounting related, to understand the socio-economic model of artistic and cultural organizations, it is important to consider all the impacts they have on individuals, organizations, and the territory.